Oronde, he joins us on Mondays when we're at Twin Peaks. Today, he's here with us at Hollywood Kia, and certainly a Dolphins fan favorite when it comes to wide receivers to ever play for the team. And yesterday, we were kind of figuring out, Solana had this take that Tyreek Hill, first of all, we agreed that he was better than you. But Tyreek Hill may be on pace to be the greatest receiver in Miami Dolphins history. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, it's still going to be tough, to get in front of Duper and Clayton. That's going to be tough. But, statistically, definitely, I think he's doing some great things to help the team, but just the speed is just, I guess just in another league, but I do think sometimes we just need a regular comeback. We don't need the motion and the dig and the stop and go. We just need a regular 3rd and 8. We just need a comeback, and those things we don't see. And I think the purists would say, because of the motion and the gimmick, he doesn't just line up and
cutesy.
He doesn't line up and just beat a guy. You know what I mean? Those guys who are going to stay with the Dupe and the Claytons. Statistically, he will definitely be.
Yeah, and to that point, because once you 1,000 yards in 8 games, they're gonna have to slow him down. Is there any way to stop him? What's your point with the scheme and his talent?
Well, listen, we played some games where, he didn't have 100 yards. He makes it up sometimes. Like, I mean, he had, was 48 against New England the first time, or, less than 100 against Buffalo because they pressed him and, didn't have the motion and all that. And, those are apples and oranges, because if you catch the ball and get the yards, who cares? But, it's when you do it. 48 yards against Buffalo, and then 197 yards against Carolina. Just ain't the same.
Does he get more credit as being a good receiver because he's small? Like, isn't it harder to do what he's doing because he doesn't have the height?
I don't think so. Because, if you're not tall and you're short, you must be fast. He checks those boxes. And he catches the ball, more times than not. It's just that, and I've said this, I don't know, Cannon can probably, say it as well, but if the offense or the defense, whichever part of the ball you're on, accentuates your strengths, then you're going to be good. It just is no way not to be, and I learned this from Prime when I was in Dallas. Everybody used to, Prime not going to the huddle. No, because it's 3rd and 8. He's sitting at 8. Only thing to beat him is a hitch. If you run by him and throw a bomb, good luck. You know what I mean? So he I don't care what y'all call. I'm sitting at 8 because I can come and make the tackle. You know what I mean? So we put him in positions for him to win. And the times when we didn't see him win, it was, that time they did the bunch in Buffalo, he was at the point and they pressed him and jammed him up, and we didn't get anything. And those are times I think now we can use Chase Claypool to work out. So, and it helps having a Waddle on the other side getting 120 yards. We saw, the Cowboys do the, CeeDee Lamb had 158, but then, Michael Gallup had 42. Like, that's not going to work in the long haul. But I think, 121 and 112, that's hard to stop. So, same thing with Tua. Tua's great because we're doing the offense to his strengths. Right. When they roll out, he roll out to his left, and the passes are and so that's great. And listen, we're gonna ride it until the wheels fall off.
And to your point, OG, about the scheme and like he doesn't just line up at the X position and whoop the top corner every play. His numbers are, but is he the best receiver in the world right now? Because it looks like it on paper, but people would argue Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, they would argue that X stand-up receiver.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Because that's the offense they run. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the Eagles run it where they're making the formation have A.J. Brown one-on-one with your corner, and he's bigger and stronger and faster than your corner, and he's going to win that. He's not going in motion and running a 27-yard dig. He's just running a 12-yard stop, back shoulder, and you can do nothing about it. And
Yeah.
and so because we're using, Tyreek Hill in that way, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, exploit the matchups. And if you get the matchup, listen, on a go route, there's nobody in the league that's gonna stick Tyreek Hill on a just go route. Like, you know what I mean? So it's tough. But I think we're doing him a good service, and we're doing Tua a service. We're doing everybody on the offense a good service because Mike McDaniel's putting them in predicament to win.
It sounds the way that you're saying, because I was going to ask you, who's the team MVP? Is it Tua or Tyreek? It almost sounds the way you're talking like it's Mike McDaniel because he's making all the right decisions.
I mean, I would say it's Mike McDaniel, but that was the whole Tom Brady, Peyton Manning situation. They run two different offenses. If you say Peyton Manning, you can't change the play. You got to run the play. Like, I was in that offense when Jimmy would tell Dan, run the play, run what I told you to run. Like, he's like, yo, I can't check off. So, if you told Peyton Manning he couldn't check out, then it'd be totally different. He couldn't Omaha. No Omahas today. Like, oh, wait a minute. You told Tom Brady he had to run. He had to be, he had to be Lamar Jackson. Like,
wouldn't have the same numbers.
Wouldn't have the same numbers. So, I think Mike McDaniel is doing it. He is the MVP at this point right now, and so that's what I'm saying. Going forward, since we're halfway through, I think there are going to be some games where he's going to have to switch that up because the longer you see it, the more the other people get paid too. So that's my only concern. Where's the plan B when we need it? And so other than that, I thought it was a little bit out of reach, but 2,000 yards seem attainable right now. It seems attainable. So, listen, still, it's, the amount of work and the body of work that he does is going to tell the story. But, like the Jerry Rice and the Randy Moss and the T.O., they still got a ways to, eclipse those guys, especially in perception. But I think he's doing a fantastic job. And today, I think if you had to pick one, because obviously it's between him and A.J. Brown, you'd have to pick Tyreek Hill because he just, stresses the defense out in so many ways. Can run the ball. You just got to straight up just send two people to double team A.J. Brown, and that could be that. But, you really can't double team Tyreek Hill unless you can get your hands on him. If you can't get your hands on him, he's unstoppable.
And on the other side of the ball, OG, because we just saw Jalen Ramsey come back. He gets an interception. My man Mike McDaniel said it was supposed to be a pick six, not a pick field goal. And he was hot because Jalen promised him a pick six. But what's it going to do for Vic Fangio when he does get Jalen back 100%? And now X is going to be healthy sooner or later too. How good can that defense be?
Well, now, if you got two shutdown corners, I mean, you can send everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to play against Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to, right. You're going to send, if the other Jalen is ready to go, if Phillips is ready to go, you can send, you can send Baker every once in a while because, the two corners are manned and they locked up. I mean, I played in the defense where we had two pretty good corners. And so JT and Zach, and everybody else could go get the quarterback because they knew the wide receivers were, covered. And so having those two corners would definitely help. If we had those two corners healthy, in the two games we lost, it might be a little different because, they have those, like we saw in the Buffalo game, Diggs was having his way. He wouldn't have his way with Ramsey. And I think if X had followed him, he probably wouldn't have had his way that much. But, and the same thing in Philly because we had two corners to stick their two wide receivers. Then now, Jalen Hurts has to become the X factor. So, we're glad to have him for the stretch run, and we're excited about it. Obviously, this game in Germany